Meritocracy as an idea, right? It's been available to us as a kind of organizing principle of society, really since the time of ancient China, a long, long time ago, right? But I guess it's really quite well known that the term itself was coined by a British sociologist whose name is Michael Young, and it was coined in the 1950s as a kind of ironic, even critical term for a literary work of dystopian fiction. I think that's sort of the origin of the term itself. And the term, I think, starts to be used with much less irony in the 1970s, really as a kind of idealized description of government as the rule of merit. And you can think of this in a variety of ways. Rule of merit in the sense of being ruled by people who are considered meritorious, or by a meritocratic principle that guides the logic, the design, the qualities of institutions and practices. So there's a whole range of meaning. I have described meritocracy as a complex idea, or a discourse even, right? And it's complex because it brings together ideas and principles and tendencies that may be at odds with one another. So two tendencies that in particular that pull in opposite directions are a tendency towards equality and a tendency towards rewards, right? And I think it's very helpful to have a system or a belief where these two things can sit together, right, in a kind of productive tension. For example, in a properly functioning meritocracy, you might find a fragile balance between paying attention to equalizing starting points, right? And this could be in the form of exercising a non-discriminatory approach, right? To not judge people based on who they know and who they're related to and who they're connected to, but to judge them according to what they are able to produce, and then to give them the opportunities to make sure that people who are not well connected and so on and so forth are given the resources and the opportunities to do well in the society. But there is also the possibility of being proactively discriminatory where there are structural inequalities. So there's that attention being paid to equality of opportunities. But that gets balanced in a fragile way with an attention or paying attention to rewarding the successful. This is maybe so that we can give recognition to people who have worked really hard, right? Who have tried their best in order to succeed, in order to present results that our society values. Maybe it's also to serve as an incentive. Now, all of these things, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with all of these things. And to have them all available to us as a society through a principle like meritocracy is a good thing. But bearing in mind also that such a formulation is very fragile. So when it's fragile like that, it then becomes quite vulnerable, right? And over time, those in leading positions will disproportionately enjoy direct or indirect control and influence over resources and even the rules of the game. And there are a few different ways of thinking about this, right? One is, you might call it a communitarian approach. That is to say, merit, or the definition of merit, is something which a community might inherit as a kind of legacy of tradition. So communities all believe, because it has been believed for many, many decades and centuries, that these are the qualities we should value. That sort of communitarian view. There could also be a democratic view about it, where merit is something that might be determined directly or indirectly through a democratic process, right? People vote for what they believe is meritorious. There's also a neoliberal view, that is to say, merit is quite simply something that the free market, left to its own devices, right, is able to reward. And when it rewards these merits, it also identifies them for society, right? So that's the neoliberal view. And I guess maybe the one that most of us kind of believe in is what you might call a realist, elitist point of view. That is to say, merit is quite simply what is dictated by the meritorious themselves. The elite, right? So those who have won the meritocratic game, they are in positions, they're in elite positions, leading positions, and there they get to say what is meritorious, right? And it's usually based on a projection of themselves. And the elite nature or the elite origins of that idea is obfuscated. It's kind of hidden by ideological beliefs about justice, fairness, efficiency, mobility, right, and opportunity, and all these kinds of things that are told in order to disguise a very brutal fact, which is the elite get to say what counts as valuable and meritorious.